A funny thing happened. The little clip I uploaded of Christian Prince program yesterday was taken down by YouTube with a warning. But yeah, am I afraid? Not afraid, but rather I don't want to lose my privilege of uploading videos to YouTube. It's more important to abide by their rules and not be banned than the opposite. So an idea came to me as I was praying about it, that to bridge the gap between Muslims leaving Islam and believing it and becoming Christians, we need to emphasize on the beauty of becoming a Christian, on the fascinating love of our Lord Jesus Christ. So I decided we'll do Bible study, simple little things. And here, what better place to start than the first book of the Gospel according to Matthew. And Jesus teaches about anger. He says, "You've heard that the law of Moses says, 'Do not murder.' But if you commit murder, you are subject to judgment. But I say, if you are angry with someone, you are subject to judgment." So, if you are standing before the altar in the temple offering a sacrifice to God, and you suddenly remember that someone has something against you, leave your sacrifice there beside the altar, go and be reconciled to that person, and then come to offer your sacrifice to God. So really, Jesus changed the whole dynamics of love and mercy. And he goes on to say, you have heard that the law of Moses says, 'Do not commit adultery.' But I say, anyone who even looks at a woman with lust in his eyes has already committed adultery with her in his heart." There, he said that he did not come to abrogate the Old Testament, but rather to fulfill them. In fact, when Jesus goes into a temple each time, he reads from the scriptures. What scriptures? There was no New Testament then. They were busy living out the New Testament and writing it. He was reading from the old scriptures. So his moral code were the moral code of Leviticus, albeit a lot of things have changed that, for us, like ceremonial laws and civic laws, those don't apply to our modern times, but the principle of it still applies. We may not worship on the Sabbath, the Saturday, but we still worship God. And definitely the moral code has not changed. Jesus has not touched on the moral code at all. In fact, he strengthened it, as we've just seen. That he strengthened immorality, adultery. He strengthened anger and murder. And here also, he says, you have heard that the law of Moses says, love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I say, love your enemies. Pray for those who persecute you. In that way, you will be acting as true children of your Father in heaven. For he gives sunlight to both evil and the good, and he sends rain on the just and the unjust. If you love only those who love you, what good is that? Even corrupt tax collectors do that much. So here we see our Lord Jesus going the extra mile, turning the other cheek, praying for those who hate you and those who do you harm. And this is the love of our Lord Jesus Christ, which he has passed on to us Christians. And also it's incredible. And there never is or will be another philosophy or religion like this. There's not another person like our Lord Jesus. And for that reason, we are here today to testify. This is the gospel I have been given. This is the gospel you've been given. You've been entrusted with. What are you doing about it? What are we doing with it? Yeah, I hear lots of people in the chat saying that, oh, thank God, the end is coming. Christianity is not about living the good life and wait till we die to go to heaven. It's about the here and now to share the gospel. There's still many, many who've yet to know our Lord Jesus and be saved. And hopefully this series for the next however long, I will expound on our Lord Jesus' message in the gospel. These are the same lessons that I learned as a child. And this is for new converts. And so it will be apropos. Thank you for listening.